Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Good evening, kings and queens of the land. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mgondo Mkondo. This is the Royal Opinion, the most forensic uh, political analysis in the internet. This is a reaction video. This is a reaction video to the interview done by Floyd Shivambu on SMWX, where he revealed basically the reason why he left the EFF and went to the MK party. More in a diplomatic way. I know a lot of people don't really hear when the politicians are speaking because you need to decode, you need to have the ability to decode the message. You need the ability to decode the message when the politicians are speaking. Floydo Kwangwa Shivambu Vic for president of the MKSA. This is a reaction video, guys. Sizwe Mpofu had an interview or he had an interview with Floyd Shivambu in his podcast. Um, Doing a very good job is Sizwe Mpofu, asking the right kind of questions to the politicians, giving the politicians not interdicting good enough time for them to express themselves without being attacked by a vigorous kind of journalism that seems to question the position of those who dare to challenge the status quo. So, well done to SMWX. I don't know if I can be able to do the way he does because he's able to keep quiet and listen and ask questions. Um, I speak slowly, but I talk a lot. I don't know if I can be able to do what he does. Is so good and so skillful at interviewing people and letting them express themselves the way they want to express themselves in an authentic way. Let me play the interview and then we will talk.
The references of commissars, commander-in-chief, the 7 cardinal pillars, the founding manifesto. Majority of the leaders of the economic freedom fighters knew that I'm going to join Mkondo's user party. Sometimes this so-called brotherhood, it's not brotherhood, it borders on gangsterism. If this government of neoliberal unity persists for a longer period of time, there will be a very thin line between the ANC and the Democratic Alliance. There will be one thing.
Spread the fire. Welcome back to SMWX, and today I am very excited by popular demand to be joined by none other than the national organizer for the Mkhonto Sizwe Party, Mr. Floyd Shivambu. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you very much, and thanks for inviting us to this very important platform, and well done for having pushed this platform this far and not
Thanks.
made it sensational like most platforms are, which is about gossip and petty issues. So it's a very important platform. So
Appreciate it.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Well,
thank you.
one of the biggest episodes was our first conversation. So we'll see what happens this time.
Oh, yeah. The other conversation when we were in the other side, yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Today we want to talk, and I'm very interested in MK Party, the constitution, and the future of the country
Yes.
as you see it. But maybe let's start with the choice to leave, and can you take us inside that decision and what brought you to that important point?
Now, look, I think that Umkhonto is a party is the most important political party in South Africa's politics now. And it needed to take the direction and the shape that it's taking now. And upon realizing that there's been so many external attempts to destabilize it, then decided that we perhaps should play a role because we've got the experience and the necessary temperament to could manage turbulent circumstances within an organization. And of course, that is due to the exposure to national leadership for a very long time now. I was saying to some of the leaders of Umkhonto as a party that I'm 41 years old now, but I've been in national leadership structures for more than 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, in terms of how I got to deal with so many issues. So Umkhonto as a party is a very important party, and we had to participate in it voluntarily. And had to take a very bold and sound, possibly best decision to leave the Economic Freedom Fighters, which I played a central role in founding,
absolutely.
in terms of how it got to be constructed. It's not a secret that I conceptualized the Economic Freedom Fighters, the name, the references of commissars, commander-in-chief, the 7 cardinal pillars, the founding manifesto, and all its key documents, including the documents which are constituting the Third National People's Assembly. I see the core and main document is the document which in my resignation letter I said should guide the organization on organizational redesign. So it's one of those things that had to be done. And also it's also to then get an opportunity to change a wrong narrative which for some reason we had fallen into as a left activist in South Africa. You know that for some time, there was a period in the politics of South Africa where we were wrongly mobilized against President Zuma. Like to say, he's the most corrupt leader, the state capture, and all sorts of nonsensical characterization of the period where during that period joined into the band, were gone and coincidentally joined by the establishment and mostly by even the descendants of the settlers who got to go and do the Zuma must fall nonsense that got to happen that time. And then we pushed for State Capture inquiry. But you know, the most important thing, I was thinking about it now systematically, that my turning point about the whole perception was actually the inquiry itself on state capture. That
Interesting.
Yeah, because I got to realize something which I think is very important, that one, there is no wrongdoing which was pointed on President Zuma in the whole inquiry. Zero. The star witness in the inquiry was Temba Maseko, who said, President Zuma said, I must call the Guptas and everything else they like. But that's what he does every day. Like yesterday, we were in a top 8 meeting. And then before the meeting started, he said that there are some people who are proposing a cooperative. Please listen to them. That is what presidents do in any circumstance, that when a business person or whoever has got a proposal comes to you, you refer them to authorities, and then the authorities have got an obligation to make sure that they comply with the laws in fulfilling what they got to do. But 3-4 major issues that came out of the state capture inquiry, some of the things which we're not even aware of. One was President Zuma's commitment to safeguard Africa's energy security. You know, they say deal on engine by pets, from my point of view. And that is one of the issues which in his state capture inquiry was presented as a scandal. That no, he actually pushed us to give a guarantee of 20 billion, which is, by the way, nothing as compared to the benefits economically which South Africa was going to gain out of that. That was one. But two, the issue which we got to be misled about as well was on the question of the nuclear build program. Like if you listen to the details of it, the manner in which